today I'm going to show you how I made that front bumper and how I made this and how this is going to turn into not the front bumper but close enough to it, and from scratch too. I made this bumper ages ago out of the same method that I used to make this. It's just sheet fiberglass, super glue, and then you reinforce it and a bit of filler. So should be a bit more of an exciting one than usual, but you'll get a bit more context in a little bit as to what this actually is. As well as that, I also bought a bunch of stinky pocket bikes, a lot of them. So I'll condense the stinky pocket bike section to as small as I can, and I did a couple other things. So hopefully you enjoy, but I'll get into it now. There you go. Check it out. I meant to work early because I left a bit of a mess last night, and I've got to start work in like 5 minutes. So I'll get this out of the way, and there'll probably be more tonight after I finish. However, this is going to be pretty good, a good start. All right, update. So I'm not actually working on the scooter tonight. I'm now a purveyor of Chinese pocket bikes. So I bought two like mini pocket bikes, and my mate's picking them up today. Or tonight rather, and now I'm on the way to Goulburn to buy two of like the mid-size, like half, like weird, like meter long, still 50cc two-stroke Chinesium mobiles. One's a Harley, one's a sports bike. So he's at 4 new things that I probably don't need, but yeah, we're on the way now. I've convinced Amelia to come with me, and yes, I'll update shortly. Made it to sunny Goulburn, the big stupid merino thing. This is weird as to film, so I'm not used to it yet, sort of thing. But about 10 minutes away from the fine vehicles that I will be purchasing. Don't you worry, I'll be stopping at the servo and showing you these things as soon as I can. The stinky pocket bikes have been acquired. They're a little bit bigger than I was expecting, but they're also kind of better than I was expecting. So I'll not crash into this thing, and I'll jump out of the car and I'll show you, because yeah, I'm not impressed. They're going to be terrible still, but it has metal grips on it, which was super surprising. Here they are in all their glory. They're obviously dog shit. It's got a big fake plastic V-twin in it, but it's still this little shitty 50cc thing next to it. Fucking, it's average, but like they're a normal size sort of thing, but same thing, like pull start. So I don't know, pretty entertaining if nothing else. Look at the mad fish scale grips on it. Fuck yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna get some food, and then we're gonna go back to Canberra and drop these off at work, and I just want to make one run. I don't know why. It's probably the only job I've ever had where I'll go back to work at 10 o'clock at night on a fucking Monday. It's Monday. I think they'd be perfect for Amelia. Myself, however, we'll find out shortly. I'm just going to get some fuel, because they're little dirty 2-strokes, and get some fuel in them and pull the fucking life out of them until one of them starts, and then zip around the car park at night time. Some mystery 2-stroke mix, not sure what's actually in it, in the hog, and I'm gonna hog the mad sports bike, and let's see if I can actually even start this thing. Fucking hell, I'm probably gonna... Stupid piece of shit. It's gonna be like a scooter all over again. They got comp at least. I got this stupid little stinky thing running. It stinks. It smells horrible. It's pretty terrible at the moment, but it dies. So, but it does run. So I'm obviously gonna take it for a ride. Try my hardest to take it for a fucking ride, because it's pretty horrible, and it's making some horrible sounds, and it keeps dying. So we'll see. I just want to go for a quick little ride before I go home. Oh god, it's so shit. the stinky pocket bike adventure for today. It's a terrible purchase. They're horrible. They suck. They're exactly what everyone said they'd be. I'm going home. Fuck it. So I got two more fucking pocket bikes. What do you reckon, Dino?
Go get fucked.
And I'm cleaning the carb on one of them because it's fucked, and I really want to make this one run, even though that one should be getting made to run. But this thing's smaller and stupider and more Chinese. So basically, I've pulled this off, and look at the fuel that come out of it. That's disgusting. So this thing's now had the carby rebuilt, cleaned. It's had new fuel line and stuff. Bit more fuel, new fuel, and now it's getting a new plug again. Now that's had a new plug. That's had a new plug. That's had a new plug. This one won't run now, but surely it'll be better than the other ones because this is the only one that did run before, just a bit shit. So new plug, and hopefully it's good. But I'm thinking I'm going to put like a fucking electric motor in this anyway, because this one is probably the best, and it'd probably be kind of cool with a little electric motor in it. So I'm a fucking, a certified CAG technician now, and now they both run. The trick to this one was the fucking kill switch was off. Then it fucking, oh yeah. Alright, so now I'm pulling the fucking gearbox off to mod the clutch to hopefully make it take off better, but I'm not expecting a whole fucking lot, so. Alright, so the gearbox is off. We'll just have a bit of a look at that. So what I'll do is I'll score this all up. I'll score up the actual pads. There's still a little bit of material on there, like it's not actually that fucked. But I did think this was the 3-shoe one, so at least I know what this is now. See if I want to buy a new one or whatever. And I don't want to take that off, so what I will be doing instead is drilling holes through that, like in here, there, close enough so that it's lighter, so it fucking takes longer for it to engage, or engages later rather. So fucking 4 new holes drilled. That was an absolute task. I feel like it's gonna make 2 fits a fuck all difference, but now I'll scuff up the pads and then get this back together and go for a test. And by law, it has to go way faster now. So these stinky pocket bikes, so we took them for a ride. We took the chopper and the road bike, and we went round down on the road, went for a little loop-de-loop round the roundabout. And when I got to the bottom, I was like, those headlights look like cops because they sniff around. Anyway, turned around and sort of rode back up, and as I was riding back up, they were riding alongside us and through the car park. And anyway, they would kind of come out of the car park, so I was like, I'll pull into the car park, pulled up next to the window. I was like, "How you going?" And then turned it off and stuff. And then Jesse was still riding behind me on the chopper, and they were basically like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, we're just testing out the stinky pocket bikes. I'll take them inside. Oh yeah, they're stinky. And she's like, no, it's all right. I don't see a problem with riding them around here, so that's fine. And then Jesse came and he was like, oh yeah, because we're taking them back in, we're just making sure they're like cleared up, I don't know. And she's like, oh no, I don't see a problem with it in this area. So basically got the go ahead to ride pocket bikes around. So I'm going to work today, and I'm taking the slightly cooler car to work today. Woo! Because I don't really drive this thing ever, so I was like, why not? I'll drive this guy. I just gave him a rinse and a couple other things, but see if it idles. It's probably too cold for it. But oh, look at this. Ooh. This car currently is like the least useful thing on the planet. It's got 4 gears because 5th and 6th are not a thing since I did the ECU. It makes like 330 kilowatts now. It's obviously still got heaps of camber, heaps of pressure in the tires. It's getting cold now, among other things, but and it's too low, obviously, but it's kind of fun. So, and I'm paying rego on it, so I was like, I want to drive the fucking thing. Look at this little thing. You don't ever see those. So, something's dead on my car as well. I'm not sure what it is, but it smells like fucking horrible. So I'll have to work that out at some point as well. But so we fucking stripped all the stickers off the pocket bike as well, and I'm giving it a clean up. Then we're gonna give it a quick polish and probably do nothing with it ever again. But it actually looks kind of cool. I don't know why, but I'm totally not upset with it at all. But it definitely needs an electric motor like the fucking quad there. And in typical fashion, I'm spending way too much time on this fucking thing, of course. So basically what I'm doing, because there's heaps of music, I'm going to voice this over later, is making templates. So that's going to be that first side panel to extend down into the tail thing. I'm kind of making it up as I go. Like, it's one of those things. I've got to find a place to start. Once I've got a good place to start, I'll do this, get the bend I like, and then I'll make a side bit to support this. And then I'll work from there, you know what I mean? So it'll be a slow process, but I'll get there. So before I forget to film everything, this is kind of where I've got this little sort of tail thing. You can see it's the width of that, and then it sort of more or less follows the angle of the side and then the angle there, and it's about the same width. I did have it coming out fully, continuing out, but I was like, it needs to taper in. So then we're just working out what I'm gonna do for the side sort of thing, because I don't want it to be a long, flat, unsupported section. So I'll make the same thing again up there to maybe here, and then step out, like almost follow this vent down, and then maybe even another one for that vent, just so there's more going on, and the more steps and bullshit like that, I think the better, because it looks super gun to me. Like, really, I think that's gonna be the best thing for it. It'll be a bit more work sort of thing, but even then, this was 15-20 minutes to make that little tail. Like, this method is pretty quick and lends itself to this because it's super boxy and 80s. So I reckon I'll do that little bit. I'll time lapse this bit because I'm not gonna be able to film heaps. I lose my train of thought once I start going and stuff, and I forget to film and shit. So I'll chip away at this. But yeah, it's just, this whole thing is just a lot of trial and error and coming up with stuff that looks good. But once you have one side, it's easier, and you can just copy it to the other side. So. So I fucking changed the idle as well, so it sounds way more hunty now, and it's I like it. I think it's kind of cool, but it's fucking, the headlights and taillights and shit dim now at idle, but I don't know, it's all fake anyway. All right, so for today, I'm not going to be here for ages, but my order of business is, I got this glue, so BSI, Bob Smith Industries, and it's like thick super glue. It's actually really cool. I'll show you when I use it, but this was like the greatest thing in the world when I did this last time. So here's the super delicate, fragile kit. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back over all the seams with this, because I only had normal super glue before. Reinforce everything, because you do still have to fiberglass the back of it, and it's a bit fragile at the moment. But like, hopefully it doesn't fall to bits picking it up. Once it's all reinforced and stuff, then I can glass the back, because before I go any further, it's getting a bit big before I've reinforced it. So what I'll do is, yeah, I'll probably glue all this up and then see if I can't come up with anything else to do. But if not, take it home and fiberglass the back side of it all, sort of thing, and then clean up all the edges and shit, so then I have nice bits to make my templates off. Obviously I haven't quite finished the back of it and stuff, or where it's going to mount and everything like that, or that green line I'm going to cut. But yes, I'm by myself today too, so I can definitely film a little bit more of stuff. It's just easier than when there's a bunch of people around, sort of thing. So I'll show you. All right, so this stuff's perfect for shit like in here. There is a thicker one again. You can see how flimsy this is, but there is a thicker glue again than this. However, I don't have it. So, and you can see here where it's not quite contacting. Basically, cut the end off it, and then, like, say in here, you can see how it comes out. Like, it's like super viscous compared to regular super glue. Bit harder to squeeze, but very, very good stuff. And then the other massively helpful thing, activator. I've said it before. You can also get this brand activator, which works really well with this glue. This is a bit more aggressive, the word stuff. It's a lot more expensive too, so I'm going to be super, like, not use much of it, you know what I mean? But that's all you need, and it'll just go off. Like, the thicker they are, the longer they take to go off. But fuck, like I said, I'll do this and I'll quickly get some on the backside, and then just have a look while I'm here at what else I can do quickly before I go home to do this. So stuff like this is where it starts getting really cool. So you've got just like random offcuts and stuff. And because it's a smallish thing, like in here, I need to box this in so I can chuck this in here to box that. And then this is open on the side and I don't want it to be, but this is, at the moment, I think about that, it swoops down a little bit and this is a bit low, and I was trying to work out what I was going to do here. So essentially what I'll do is I'll get something like this, and this is just a nice scrap sort of thing. Hold it up to that. So then that just adds another level of complexity to it. Boxes in the sides, looks more refined, and it changes that slope at the back to be more in line with what I actually want. So I'll basically match this angle here to that, and then I'll glue this on. So I just added like a couple of little details. Obviously this one along here, and then I did a little offcut in there and in there to box them off sort of thing. And it's really hard to visualize what this is going to look like until it's sort of primed, but it's just more like artsy, fucking like over the top, silly, more like a Decatara truck than anything else. But it's just that, I don't know, just doing whatever because it's just for the sake of doing it, basically. But just real pointy, sharp, boxy, like fucking like a Gundam pretty much. But what I'll do is I'll make this little tail bit here, and maybe box in a couple other bits. The whole straight edge thing I'll do once it's reinforced in fiberglass, because it's really hard to cut stuff while it's just glued together. It is like, if you threw this at the ground, it'd just pretty much explode sort of thing. I'll give it a bit of credit. It's a bit stronger than that, but yeah, you wouldn't be rough with it at this stage. But I did a little bit under there, and I did trim a little bit of the side off. So side on, it's looking pretty good now. And I've glued all the back. And the other thing I'll do before I take it anywhere, and before I've done it every other time, is one, actually, you got to trim up all the overhangs on the back. Like in there, you can see it's overhanging, and here. So you get as best you can, so it has a nice bond with the new mat. And then the whole outside, really snugly tape all the seams, just so it doesn't leak into resin through, one. And two, it's just like an extra layer of support to hold it together before you fucking fiberglass it. But it's looking like something. All right, so the whole thing's taped up now, and you can see from the backside why it's as important as it is to tape it up. So like there, you got a gap. I know in there's a pretty big gap, but rather than put a sliver in there, I can just soak it with resin and mat, and that'll get it. A couple other bits and pieces, but essentially, yeah, one, it gives it more strength, and two, it just stops it from leaking out the back sort of thing and making more of a mess, because this is all pretty flat, square, nice. Like you can see the reflection in it sort of thing. So the less work on the outside, the better, because this is getting pretty complex sort of thing. But I think for now, this is looking pretty cool, pretty over the top sort of thing. So, and copying the other side is actually not that bad, like you'd imagine it would be, but it's seriously not. You can just pull masking tape templates off everything on this side once you've refined all the edges so there's no overhangs and stuff, and then you copy it on the other side. The hardest thing is going to be mounting it sort of thing, but I reckon it's going to be a couple screws through there, and then a couple through here, because that's just the license, like where the number plate sort of goes. So I've got no qualms about, there's little bolts there already, so I can just go into there, and then, yeah, maybe there, and a couple under this thing. I'm going to get rid of this as well, but like just some nice hardware to do that rather than try and fully mold it, because this is plastic, obviously. All right, as far as reinforcing it goes, now that I'm home and stuff, I'll give you a crash course on fiberglass. Mat, this is just whatever. Like if mat's super thick, you can tear it in half. See, I've already torn this. It's super thin. Just want it to conform, get in all those cracks super nice. It doesn't need heaps because it's already made of fiberglass. This is my tub. This is everything you need to do fiberglass, basically. Brushes, cheapest brushes you can get from Bunnings. I'll just get like a decent sized one. He's a bit munter, but that'll be fine. As far as the rest of it goes, I'll probably need a couple of cups. I'll smash some of these out of here. You don't need heaps of resin for this, because it's just going to be slight reinforcements. I'm not making it too bulky. Resin and hardener. So I just buy it in bulk. Obviously, I'm almost out of that. And then your hardener as well. It's from online. This is from Trojan Fiberglass. That's like $300 for 20 litres or something. So it's not that expensive. Rather, it's not as expensive in bulk as you would expect. From a local fiberglass store, it's usually pretty pricey. It's like $10 a metre for mat. But you can buy whole roll like I have here for, I think it was like $250 or something. And it goes a long way if you're doing a lot of fiberglassing. Cutting disc, I forgot to trim the rest of it. This is a little disc, but it's probably actually going to be really handy to do what I need to do. And some nitrile gloves, because I will never wear gloves any other time. It's just too hard to work in, but with fiberglass resin, you don't want to get it in your hands. Not because it's dangerous or anything, it's just, I hate having dirty hands, and it's impossible to get off your hands. So crash course in fiberglassing, it's not that deep. This is the hardener, this is the resin, this is polyester resin. I mixed up 2 little cups. This is meant to be, I don't know, 3% by volume or weight or whatever. Doesn't matter. That's probably going to be like, say, a cap's worth. It's a bit cold, so you can put a bit more in. Only with polyester resin, epoxy resin, you can't do that. It won't go off if you put too much in, but this is just like full cowboy. Like you can do basically whatever you want. So what we'll do is we'll just fucking give it a splish in here. That'll do. Oh, I'll go a little bit more like that. And then basically mix it up in 2 different cups so I can just have some on the go sort of thing. You can use an ice cream bucket, whatever. And then basically mix the whole thing up heaps, wipe it on there, and then you put your mat on and start dabbing it. So everything's got sort of 2 and a bit, like heaps of overlap on them sort of thing. So it's hard to gauge, but about 2 layers. You can actually tell by the transparency. So you can see how opaque some spots get. Obviously some spots like these crests, they're just going to lift. It's just like you can roll it down, but like, unless you're using like a fiberglass paper, like really, really, really ultra thin or ribbon or something, you just can't really get in there. So I'm not super fussed. If anyone wants to buy me a fiberglass chopper gun for my birthday, that'd be awesome, because that'd be perfect for this sort of shit. But that's fine. Like that's just going to reinforce it all sort of thing. It's not, it's better than it was. And of course, once it gets a bit of filler and stuff on it and whatever, like this isn't going to be the last bit of fiberglass it gets, put it that way. So I'll let this all dry. I used about 2 cups. It took about half an hour. Like it's not hard. And I quickly did a repair on a reverse cowl for Dad so I can paint that, because I've been putting that off for ages as well. But that's pretty much it. And because it's cold, I'll just let it dry. Probably take like a couple of hours since the sun's like going down now. But anyway.
Oh, so I opened the engine bay again to work out what the smell was, and I found it, and it's fucking gross as. So I opened it again, and I'm like, where's the fucking smell? And I'm like, I hope it's not near the wiring. And then I was like, oh. So fucking, oh God. It's like baked on here. Ugh. Oh, fuck, how am I going to get this out? It's fully, sorry rat, but like, fuck man. Fucking fuck you if you ate my wiring. Oh, God. I can't, this fucking thing is baked on here. Ugh. I'm gonna get some pliers.
Look at all the footprints on the top of your manifold.
Everyone's really impressed. Yeah, little cunt, but oh
How
God.
good to live in rural, son.
Oh. Yuck. Oh fuck, how am I gonna fucking
To get it?
nah. Oh Jesus Christ. What the fuck?
It's like jerky.
Oh. And we've got a fucking tail, and now it's just all baked on there. So I'm gonna get some mad degreaser or something on there and fucking try and blow this out, because that's fucking disgusting. What the fuck? The engine bay is all nice and as clean as it's gonna get, and oh, mostly de-ratted. That's so baked on there now. I'll just have to let it do its thing, but it's all, the actual rat's gone, which is nice. So it's a new day, and with this being dry, I can go do more on it. But to prove my point, this is like minimal fiberglass, like fucking the equivalent of maybe 1 layer of 300 gram per square meter. Ta-da! It's not going to break now. Fiberglass is strong as, with just a little bit of fucking work. So alrighty, so now that this is all ready and all cooked and everything, I'll take all this tape off. I'll clean up all the edges and stuff just with an angle grinder. Angle grinder is the best thing for this. And then I can clean up some of the overhangs on this side and stuff, get them all nice, and then start making templates to copy onto the small amount of sheet that I have left. So I might be able to get at least a couple of the important ones that I need to then copy the rest off
if that makes sense. I remember this is like a rule of thickness or just under a rule of thickness. This is just over a rule of thickness. I'll get it close enough sort of thing. So yes. And of course, it's all going to be pretty square anyway. So it's not like I'm rounding everything over so that the templates are going to be impossible, because I still want to get a bit of body work done on this side today just to see what it's like, so I can get some primer on it and be like, whoa, that's sick, or it's fucked, I need to change it. All right, so we've made it to the elusive land of upstairs. And fuck, I want to see primer on this thing because there's so much going on. But like I said, angle grinder, cutting disc, basically mow all the excess off, and you can use obviously an orbital sander to get it a bit smoother and nicer and stuff. And then what I'm going to do, because this is all glassy, I'm going to sand everything, buzz it all back sort of thing. So I've got a nice finish to, what was I going to say, to get some body filler on and stuff, and just get it a bit more even, because it's all shiny and dull and whatever. All right, so the thing is mostly sanded. All the edges are mostly butted up nicely, sort of square. Primer will show off how fucked up this is a lot more, but it'll also be like the moment of truth of if it's going to look good or not. So it's hard to tell. Like Gundam is like the only thing I can think of. Like I've never even built a Gundam, but like this, I guess, really. And then obviously I can cut vents and stuff in it too once it's all solid and everything like that. But I'm gonna get some primer and cross my fingers that this is gonna look good. So I just pulled it off the stand. It's pretty cool. It's probably sitting a bit low though, I reckon, if anything. And the angle is not quite right. It looks pretty cool. Actually, it looks cooler through the camera than it does in person. But you can see, like, it's still pretty high. Like I can obviously get this thing lower, but I did want it to be pretty level. So I'll have a bit of a think and work out what I'm gonna do to fix that, but the wheel arch thing's in about the right spot, at least if nothing else. I'm just kind of looking at it. There's lots of just looking at it involved. I feel like I need to add maybe, because this vent finish is there, and this one sort of stopped. I feel like this needs to maybe come down now and box under, if that makes sense. So it sort of comes rather than finishing hard out. Yeah, I reckon I'll extend this down a bit and then box it under, and then it comes to a bit more of like a point underneath, just on a bit of an undercut sort of thing. Obviously this is a bit ugly. I'll just I'll fix this by fucking filling that with a bit of body filler and stuff. But all the shapes and stuff are pretty cool, like if nothing else. It's getting there. It's just a bit hard to work out what I need to change specifically. Work it out though. So while I was looking at it, I just had another quick idea. What I can probably do is leave that front screw, pull this trim off obviously, because it's just a couple screws, and then basically just kind of like pivot the whole thing up so it'll get this at a better angle. This angle will be closer to that angle then, and essentially it'll mean I don't have to fill as much down there. I can get the scooter actually lower, which is obviously more important than having it super kit low. You can only get it so low anyway, but then just sort of trim all this to suit the new angle, because the angle they come off the vent probably isn't quite enough. See, if you look at that bottom angle there, if that was up, like if the whole thing was like that much more, like 3 or 4 degrees or 5 degrees, then that back would be at a better angle, everything would be a better angle. And I feel like that'd be the way to go, to be honest. So just by like unscrewing this front one and doing the opposite, if I push this down, you can see what I mean. It sort of brings everything a bit better. So I think, I don't know if it's going to be easier to fill this bit here, or it probably will be actually, because I don't have to make one sliver essentially, rather than reshape the whole back of it sort of thing. And that'll get that back angle to be closer. It doesn't need to be perfect, like it changes after the taillights anyway. The taillights droop down pretty hard at the back, which I do want to do something with as well, but obviously where do you draw the line with this sort of shit? So I think I'll do that. That's a lot easier to make a sliver here. and then glue that in than it is to fucking remake the whole back thing, because I got that shape pretty close around the tail lights and stuff sort of thing, so I don't really want to redo that. But all in all, it's probably been like 4-5 hours of work so far, and I've got something pretty cool looking, so that's a plus. I'll let that hang, and yeah, it's pretty cool actually. So I've trimmed a bit off the top, and what I've done is I've re-scuffed everything. I know you shouldn't be priming before you're doing bodywork, blah, blah, blah. And because it's fiberglass, I should really be doing everything and then gel coating it, which I may do. But what I'll do now is I'll get some filler, fill up all the nasties. You can see how uneven it all is and stuff. It'll make it just look better again. All the edges and stuff are going to be the hard part, but like I said, I can just wipe my finger through them or a little corner of something. And then I will make a panel for here and under here. I'll have trimmed this back a little bit to allow me to get it up a bit more sort of thing, but I'll keep chipping away at it. All right, so I got a okay amount of filler on everything. Just getting it as flat as possible is the most important part. These corners are going to suck regardless, but this is all pretty much dry, so I'll get a bit of sandpaper and then I'll just sort of go over all this and get it all a bit more refined, a bit nicer, so it's not super fiberglassy looking anymore. All right, so this whole thing's sanded. This is the part where this and fiberglass gets super annoying. In here, and you can see there's lots of little pinholes in the glass. This is why I say I might gel coat it to seal it all up, because it's probably a bit much for a high fill primer. However, because I want to see what it looks it's going to kind of look like, I'm going to prime it again, obviously with rattle can primer, because I think it'll look a lot more refined now. Everything's a bit flattened and stuff like that, and you can't really see any joints. It's pretty cool. It's a pretty intricate sort of thing, but whew. So I've just had a pretty cool idea on how to actually mount this. This was that little side trim there. So where it was sitting was obviously under here, but what I reckon I will be doing is cutting all this out sort of thing. So I like that. I'll just cut from there out, maybe leave that back one so I can mount it back there. But this had 3 little studs, or yeah, two little studs and a little clip thing. So what I reckon I'll do is make it so it butts up to this line real nice, down there, and then obviously there, up to there, and then attach it from the back, like fiberglass some little studs into it, and then it's really nicely attached and you can't see any hardware, because that'd be a lot cooler looking than actually having screws, because I did want to get rid of that little side trim as well. So yeah, that's cool. So I'll let the air compressor fill up again, because this is just a tiny little airline, and I'll keep going. All right, so my hands are red, but I bit the bullet, I cut it all off, and yeah, what I'm definitely going to do is mount it through here. It makes no sense to try and do it some other extravagant way. I've left a little bit of overhang here, and what I'll do is hopefully there's enough material, I can flatten this down so I have where it's currently sitting on something, and then I can just make this new piece up to there sort of thing. So yes, it's all fucking customed now, but this is going to work way better than what I was originally thinking. Oh, I can actually even fucking hold it up to it like here. So that's where it sits currently, but we need it to sit like, look at that. That's going to be so much better. This flange down here is pretty good. I'll flatten it more later, but I do just want to get this in a bit of primer. Also, I really like the fact that I'm spending time to do things a bit nicer than cunts do when they buy a bolt-on wide body for their car and then forget to seal up the guards and stuff. Like, it's your car, and like half of them, it's like 86s and shit. It's like, it's an expensive car. This is a $300 scooter, and I'm putting more thought into some of this shit than you guys. Anyway, that's just me. Alrighty, so I finished off the can and just got a bit more on here. This actually looks pretty good with the second coat now. This looks kind of cool. It'll be pretty cool to actually, I think it's dry enough to see these things like together as one color, I guess. Where are we? How does he sit? Something like that. I don't know. We'll get it. I'll go take it over and I'll get it on the how is it there? And I'll sit it on the vehicle and see what it looks like. Alrighty, I chucked a couple screws on it and I've got it down at a bit of a better angle. The back's sitting a bit nicer too. It might just need to come over this way a hair, but obviously once I've got the other side on, it's going to be a lot better too. But it also sits out a hair further as well now. But I think that's looking pretty cool. So what I've got to do now is, it is still hitting on this. So what I've seen is people cut out essentially the cutout where the clutch bell sits. So I might do that on this. And you can do some cool designs and stuff in there anyway, because I kind of fucked this up, so it's not the end of the world. But yeah, fuck, basically I've marked here. So what I'll do is I'll masking tape up this whole area, push it right into the crack, mark it all up, and then copy that onto this. And then I've got sort of my last piece of the puzzle to make this side pretty good. Sitting back, it's definitely still needs a little bit to level it up, sort of thing, but it's getting a lot better. That's for sure. I'm gonna have to modify the kickstand and stuff so that the foot sits outside it, or just sits lower or something, to be able to get it up on this kickstand, or the frame stand, I guess you'd call it. But fuck, it looks a lot cooler now that it's a bit more refined. So it's definitely turning into something, that's for sure. So essentially, just for like demonstration purposes, I guess, you can sort of see the faint line where I need to cut it, but basically just mark carefully along that line. You can always refine the shape afterwards, sort of thing. You don't have to be super careful, but it does help. And then you can, kind of push in and right along the edge almost. But you get me. I'll mark all this and I'll put this on a template and I'll show you what I do there. So basically pull this off so it comes off nicely as one piece. Like this. And then get it down on here as nice and flat as possible. And obviously trying to get it as close to the edge as you can, sort of thing. So you're using minimal wastage. I mean, it's pretty cheap to do, but it's not a bad habit to just avoid wasting stuff. So he's pretty good there. And then that's pretty close to the edge. That's close enough anyway. Lay it flat, and then you can also get a razor blade and a ruler. I did the little lines here, so I know this is going to be pretty well straight along the bottom. Razor blade and a ruler to cut there. That's mostly straight. It just has a bit of a curve to it. So I'll start off by razor blading that. And then the front, this is a curve. But you basically just cut it out. And then another quick way of doing a template, I'll show you. So to make the template, I've just cut all the way around here, peel off all the tape. And then a quick way of doing this, you could just run a marker over the outside, but it might bleed a bit, sort of thing. It's not super crucial. Also, this is how I will make the whole other side. So normally when you do stuff like this, matching the other side's the hard part. It actually isn't too hard when you do it this way. It's honestly easier than making it in the first place. But basically just any sort of shitty paint, you'd need fucking none of it pretty much. Like that. And then once you've got that on there, ta-da, you get a perfect template. So I'll pull this off and then cut this out and I'll be back. So this is the panel. If I hold it up, it fits pretty close. You know what I mean? Like it just needs a tiny bit of trimming, I think, through the middle here. And this front's not perfect, but best course of action is gluing this on, taping this one before I glue it probably, because this is going to be a bit of a tricky one to glue on. And I kind of have to fiberglass it almost straight away. However, the other thing I reckon I'll do is I'll trim these down on that angle, just so it doesn't look as square and unrefined, I guess. That's heaps better. You can see where the kickstand is wanting to sit. That's why it was pushing it out so much. I don't think it's just touching here, maybe. I don't know. Either way, I'll cut that off. It's sitting a bit shitty up here, so I'll have to see what I'm going to do about that. I might be able to, not too sure, without fully reinventing the wheel. It's going to be a bit hard actually, but it's pretty square at the back. Could maybe do with a little twist, but all in all, it's pretty good. Looks pretty seamless now, really. I'll sit the seat on it and this little front panel even while I'm at it. Alrighty, so everyone rocked up, so I didn't get heaps sort of done, but I drew some marks where I'm going to cut the vents out, which I think makes it look cooler again. I leveled this off. It's a bit hard to tell because it's fiberglass, but that's pretty good now. Obviously the front's super high still, sort of thing, but everything's got to get tweaked. And beyond that, I cut the tail to look better because I think someone else coming in said the same thing. As I was thinking of it, it needed to be cut up more, but that's way better. And then I'll obviously just box that in, and then that's pretty much it. I'd say there's not much more. Maybe tweak this little wheel arch thing a little bit, and maybe just this front section so it sits down a bit lower. I don't know. It's fucking kind of how I wanted it to look anyway. Yeah, it's something. It might be a bit boxy, but fucking oh well. It's just over the top, really.